I want to start off this video with a mini quiz. All you have to do is feel whether a particular photo gives you comfort or discomfort. While some of these objects might feel like routine for one person, they can feel like pressure for another. For instance, an alarm clock could negatively affect a person's morning, while commuting may give someone a peace of mind. But if you find yourself spending most of your time indoors, lying down, playing video games, and rarely going outside to feel the sun, then you might just be a hikikomori. The world of Welcome to the NHK is an absurd yet human experience that follows the internal struggles of Tatsuhiro Sato, a young 22-year-old unemployed man who dropped out of college and ended up becoming a hikikomori. But how does someone become a hikikomori? How does someone who once seemed fine in high school fall so drastically after entering adulthood? While the anime doesn't dive too deep into the experiences of Sato during that time, we do get a glimpse of what he felt walking down a street. There is a clear fear of being judged or even shame, a fear many of us quietly carry. But unfortunately for Sato, his condition was so severe that it led him into isolation for more than 6 months at a time, with his only lifeline being his parents' allowance and convenience store food to feed himself. During this 4-year period of him being a hikikomori, there are a few things that can keep a person stuck in isolation. Characteristics such as anxiety and fear of being judged, a feeling so constant that even the thought of leaving a room can create intense discomfort, preventing you from interacting with the outside world. This, in turn, would let someone dwell so much in their thoughts that it forms a negative feedback of anxiety leading to avoidance, avoidance to isolation, isolation leading to overthinking, and overthinking loops back into fear and depression. But what makes this cycle so difficult to break is because of certain mechanisms that reinforce this way of thinking. This can be traced back during Sato's time in high school, where he was once a part of the literature club, with the only other member being Hitomi Kashiwa, a senpai who influenced how he began interpreting the world. Hitomi introduces the idea that the hardships around him are the result of a hidden conspiracy, an idea which he later on internalizes. That idea eventually mutates, leading him to blame his hikikomori life on an entity, the NHK, which to him stands for Nippon Hikikomori Kyokai, but the final mechanism in place, serving as a lifeline that reinforces his isolation, is financial support from his parents. Letting Sato not only have enough money to feed himself, but also ensuring that most of his bills are paid. It is enough money to survive and even indulge in some comforts, an important aspect that helps fuel the negativity he experiences in his daily life. So now the question is, how do you pull someone out of that lifestyle? A person who feels there is nothing going for them in life, who feels like a failure and a nuisance, a person so consumed by their thoughts of cynicism, nihilism, and pessimism. The anime does dive into certain ways to bring Sato and people like him out of that way of life. The simplest yet most effective way is through human connection. Someone willing to embrace the ugly and flawed side of you, yet still pushes for even the smallest progress. In this story, that person was Misaki. Their interactions are limited and brief at first. Sato doesn't really understand Misaki and why she persists in helping him, but something about her stays in his mind longer than it should. It doesn't take much before he starts thinking of her constantly, even slipping into fantasies he doesn't fully admit to himself. In a way, her presence has already started to change something in him. She gets him to leave his home more often than before and do things he rarely would even try, even if he can't fully understand her intentions. Until one day, Sato hears terrible news from his mother. She was going to cut his allowance by half.
That's fine and all, but you can't just cut my money in half without any kind of warning!
But I'm afraid the money's all run out. I decided to work more hours at my part-time job, so the least you can do is start working too.
And as you can see, this was a world-ending event for Sato. The one thing keeping his comfort and safety together was the financial support his parents gave him. Now with his allowance cut in half, he couldn't even afford CDs. But when faced with such a dilemma, Sato still cannot bring himself to take up a job. Instead, he relies on a quick solution by playing a game called Ultimate Fantasy, wherein you can participate in real money trading through grinding, collecting items, and selling them for real money. Of course, this was ineffective. The method itself required knowledge about the systems, and even if you had the opportunity to sell, many buyers will haggle the items for a lower price, no matter how much time you wasted in the game. Sato, now realizing how futile it was, decided to meet up with an old classmate of his, Kobayashi, who just so happens to be a part of a multi-level marketing group. And even though he was aware and knowledgeable of such schemes, he still easily fell through the trap of getting money quick, and got his friends involved too. What happens now if social relationships couldn't change Sato himself? Well, maybe a drastic solution might work. Because while Sato was focused on finding ways to earn money quick, Misaki was busy making sure he was fed and receiving the proper daily nutrients. He doesn't realize it yet, but he's in for a harsh awakening. Remember the old classmate he met, Kobayashi? She has an older brother who relies on her to feed him, working and suffering just to make ends meet. Suddenly, she was gone. For 3 whole days, her brother received no food, and with the fear of death looming close, he finds the strength to leave his room and ask for help from a nearby restaurant just to eat. And the owner says a very important perspective: if humans get hungry, they will work. Sato's relationship with Misaki deteriorates after an incident with his senpai, and because of this, she stops bringing food over to him. Then he loses his allowance after his father gets hospitalized. Even Yamazaki couldn't bring any more cheese due to complications delivering it. The life he knew was starting to collapse. Not his imagination or Misaki could get him out of this. Only when he lost the things he took for granted did his worldview finally broke down. There wasn't anything anymore allowing him to stay holed up in his room, unless he was fine with starving. And after some time passed, he took his biggest step. He finally found a job, fed himself with a decent meal, and this time, it seemed like his days were going to be quiet. The perfect way for me to describe Welcome to the NHK is Human, a show filled with people so flawed, so wrong, yet are ambitious, hopeful, and emotional, each one finding their place in life. I looked at Sato at times and felt like he was my brother, just another me. He wasn't someone to look up to, nor did his path end up having a triumphant victory, but rather, it was quieter, more intimate. Even when his friends were getting married and having children, he doesn't have to chase after them. However way you can, even slow and gradual progress is still progress. You may relapse, you may fall again, you may call yourself a failure, and you may hate yourself even. But as long as you take 1 foot forward, scared or not, I'm sure you'll be alright. I love this show dearly, and I've grown attached to Sato and Misaki. I still feel like I need to say more, but I'm happy to have seen this anime. That's pretty much it from me. I'm Aaron. Have a blessed day, afternoon, evening everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Sayonara.